Hello,
Hello.
I'm ready.
Excellent.
How are you again today?
I am super good. I am super
Yay.
good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm more excited to be talking to you. So I'm like already smiling, my jaw's hurting back here. I'm like, woo. Okay, so you guys, today we have with us DL White, and I'm gonna introduce. I want to put my glasses on because I just have a little introduction so you guys can know who exactly this amazing human right here is. This is author D.L. White. She is an Atlanta-based author. She began penning women's fiction and romance novels in 2011. She has close to 20 books. She's you're just gonna enjoy her writing. She enjoys coffee and brunch, but she also enjoys water. So she enjoys lakes, rivers, ocean, and waterfalls. Those are her obsessions. Um, she's not only a writer, she's also a reader. So when she's not writing, she's indulging in other works. If you enjoy a well written book that is thought out, planned with super amazing character development, you should pick up a D.L. White book. A D.L. White book. And I'm happy to have author D.L. White here today. Yay!
Hello, hello.
Yes. I want to jump right in because I know I'm going to have so many questions. If you guys have questions, there's a circle with a question mark. Be sure to go put your question there. And if we have time, we're going to go and we're going to grab your questions. We're going to have this conversation.
Put them questions in there.
In there, you ready?
I am.
Okay, so this is a question, always the first question. When did you fall in love with writing Black romance, Black stories, telling Black stories?
I would say hard to pinpoint the year, but like '08, '09, maybe. I don't know like the year, but it was around it was Kimani Romance. I wasn't around for like the arabesque years, but I had somehow stumbled onto NetGalley, and I saw all these books that were popping up from Harlequin and Kimani with these gorgeous dark skinned people on the covers.
Covers, yes.
And I didn't realize that we had that. Like, I grew up in a very white town.
Mhm.
So if it wasn't Terry McMillan or Eric Jerome Dickey, didn't nobody know what you was talking about. And I would see the books like in the catalogs, but I was a teenager, so I couldn't buy them. And I didn't know anything about any of the old legends of Black romance. I just knew that like the big names. And so when I stumbled upon like Zuri Day and Farah Rashan and Nikki Knight, who I just met last weekend, like mind blowing. I was like, oh, this exists. And kind of from that moment on, I stopped reading what I felt like publishing or what New York Times was sending to me to read.
Mhm.
Feeding here, read this, read this, read this, feeding the top 100 or top 10 or whatever. In NYT is what, top 20 or something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked in so long. Um, but I stopped reading what I felt like publishing wanted me to read, and I
Mm.
started reading books that seemed to be written for me, to me, about people like me that looked like me. And then when I've always been a writer, but when I discovered that authors were writing books featuring Black people, I wanted to be a part of that group as well. So I kind of like I would say stumbled stumbled onto it. Like I was already writing stories, and so it gave me an outlet to push those stories too.
Why do you think it's important for us, when I'm talking about us, Black women, Black men, to see our stories on pages? Because for years, like you said, we didn't have that opportunity. And what do you think the impact is of us being able to see our love stories on paper, on pages?
Well, I think representation is good. I think it's great for us to be able to see ourselves not just out in society and every day. I mean, all my doctors are Black. I love knowing that Black people can be doctors. And I love knowing that Black people can be in love, and Black men and Black women can be loved and be treated well, and don't have to be shoved to the side or to the margins, as they say. I mean, just like we tell kids, to look for those people that they admire. If you want to be a doctor, look up to doctors. If you want to be a dentist, look up to Black dentists. I mean, we have rocket scientists. Like we can be anything. And so I feel like that doesn't stop when we are talking about love stories, and that doesn't stop when we are talking about the stories of our lives and our history and our futures and our imaginations. So we are a part of life, and we should exist everywhere.
So growing up in the town you said you grew up in, an all white,
Mm.
um, did you want to be like, did you aspire to be an author? Like, what made you say, I think I want to sit up, I'm gonna write stories and I'm gonna write Black stories.
When I was young, I don't think it was a matter of writing Black stories. I've always been a writer since I was young. It was something my
Okay.
parents really encouraged in me. I was very quiet. And I was very much a loner, and it was something that I enjoyed. Like the one thing I really liked doing was reading and writing. And so they let me do that. They would buy me all the notebooks and let me go to the library on my own and read whatever I want. Yes, I was reading Flowers in the Attic at 13. My mom told me not to read it, but then didn't say anything when I did read it. And whatever she was reading, I was reading. And to this day, we still talk about books a lot. So I wasn't really focused on Black fiction until I saw that there was more than Terry McMillan and Eric Jerome Dickey out there. My editor is in the comments talking about she didn't think I would be quiet, but listen. I'm very verbose with the fingers, but in real life, I'm very quiet. I'm a very quiet person. I love to
Really?
find a corner, just get in the corner, just be watching people. Just no, I'm
Well,
good. I'm just watching. But when I was younger, I was writing whatever, and just writing to entertain myself, to tell myself stories. I'd read and write and write and read and read and write, as a lot of writers do. You see something and a story just starts writing itself in your head, and it doesn't shut up until you write it down. I wasn't really focused on Black stories until I started reading them, which I think speaks so well to the impact of Black authored books and why we had an imprint that was specifically for us, about us.
how important do you think, you mentioned people watching, how important do you think people watching is for someone who crafts stories?
I mean, I'm nosy. So I be watching people just to be watching people. And like, if it's me and my mom, we're like, look at their shoes, the shoes, the shoes, the shoes. And my mom's like, stop talking about her shoes. Look at that bag. So it's this conversation between me and my mom, but then I might translate that to a heroine and her sister, a heroine and her best friend, or a guy and his best friend. Like sometimes that conversation is funny when it's two guys talking about another guy or another girl, but like I feel like it brings you a slice of life. It makes your stories more real, watching people in real life, listening to them. I'll ear hustle a story in a second. Dinner at Sam's came from listening to people, a woman having an argument in an elevator with her husband about her
Wow.
bill. And I was like, this is going in a book. I can't. This is going in a book. I can't not put this in a book.
Yeah, see,
So the whole scene just wrote itself. Like I wrote that entire book around that scene and one other one where a woman had confronted her husband because he had like a whole other life that he was leading, and she confronted him and she was talking to her friends about it, and big old ears, just listening. I mean, it brings you those stories where people be like, that can't really happen. Oh honey,
I
it
in
happened. I
yeah, because
wish
in
it did.
interviewing a lot of people, I always hear, well, like they may watch a TikTok video or they watch a reel, and I'm
Yes.
thinking, when I'm at the mall, so I'm thinking brunch at Ruby's, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just the way you move your hand to move your
Mm-hmm.
hair and
Mm-hmm.
how important all
Yeah.
of those things are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start jumping into the books a little
Mm-hmm.
because you got that so right. I mean, you got that so right. The first few chapters when they
Mm-hmm.
first meet up, from when
Mm-hmm.
Maxine pulls up in the car. And did you see that? Like, or did you feel it? It was so much realism. So I just want to know, like you said, outside of, I mean, I guess it could be people watching, but how did you come up with the seed for those scenes to make sure you got them so right?
I would So two things. Writers say this a lot, and
Hmm.
it is not just a cute thing to say, but it for real, it plays like a movie in my head. And I'm watching the movie in my head, and I'm just trying to write down everything I'm seeing, everything I'm hearing, everything I'm feeling. And sometimes when I'm writing, I'm thinking about the senses. What are they seeing? What are they hearing? What are they smelling? What are they feeling? It needs to be round. Like the story can't be flat, just he said, she said, he said, she said. That's so boring. Like it needs to be 3D. It needs to be realistic, and novelistic is my new favorite word.
Hmm.
And it also, I think, comes from reading writers that are very particular in their description.
Yeah.
Um, we had talked a bit ago about you seeing and hearing Terry McMillan in my work, and I
Yes.
mention her a lot because I
Yes.
love the compliment. Because when I read Terry, I feel like I'm in the room.
Yes.
I'm a fifth at the table. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm right outside the door. I feel like I'm there, and that's the feeling I want readers to get when they read my books. I want them to, when they read A Thin Line, I want them to feel like they're in St. Lucia. When they read an Atlanta book, I want them to feel like they're speeding up any Peachtree Road. Just any Peachtree Road, pick one. I want them to feel like the setting is also a character, and
Right.
so I want them to feel like they're at Ruby's. I want them to hear it and smell it, and what does the booth feel like? What is
Right.
are they worn? Is it brand new? Is the floor like you know
Popcorn on the floor. Is the floor sticky?
yeah? Is the floor sticky? What are the front counters? You can see the
Yes.
old dudes sitting up at the counter, and they hear the music and just hear like the chatter of the cooks and whatever. I want it to be full.
Listen, I love books like that. Like, I sometimes say those are not to me like a simple book because you have
Mm-hmm.
to use all of your senses.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you're reading it, but then it's funny because I'm going to get into the Audible, but I was driving today because it's been raining here in LA, and so I'm acting like I can see it. Like they're reading it. I'm like, girl, this is a book. You can't see anything, but
Yeah.
it's so vivid, and it's just so good. And trying to think, do I want to first? Let me just ask you this before I move forward to the next question. What is your Where did you get your writing skills from?
I was I like to say I was an English major, but I wasn't. I was a communications major,
Okay.
with a talent, like a natural talent, skill, flair for writing that I cultivated throughout my entire life. My mom was my first beta reader. But I also studied English as a second or foreign language, which is,
Okay.
I guess, sort of like English, but it really focuses more on um, English as language, English as communication from people who don't speak English. And so you have to explain every nuance of the English language. It's this word is spelled this way, but this word is not spelled that way, it's spelled this way, but they sound the same. And like you
Right.
have to really pay attention to the minute details and the rules of English, which I guess makes you fit pay closer attention.
Mhm.
Um, I've now forgotten the question.
No, no,
but
I
I think
just
I answered it.
so in reading a lot of books, you find that there's books. That's why I said there's some that are just kind of like I'd like to say simple, but not definitely not in a negative way. Like you can just
Hmm.
pick it up; it's so easy, and you just get it, and there you go.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
there's other books where you can really see the type of person, like you write like that, where it's very structured and very detailed. Like you said, you use the senses and the adjectives and the nouns, and they flow like the structure. And I that's why I was asking, like, how did you learn how to write like that to make sure it's like I mean, like a Terry McMillan book or like
Hmm.
a Walker book. You know,
I
how
think
did you make sure you were able to grab that skill and hone it so well?
I mean, I enjoy reading a book like that, and
Hmm.
so it's reading a lot. Reading, I read a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot of books, but and I read some books that are, an easy read. I love an easy read. Actually, give me an easy
Yes.
read, but then I like to intersperse them in with reads that bring me all kinds of emotion and all kinds of senses, and books where like you can't skip a word because you need all of it. And that's a lot of reason why I read a lot of crime thrillers, a lot of crime fiction, a lot of thrillers, a lot of mystery, a lot of suspense, because I I want to read a book where I need every part. I can't skip.
Right.
And so I want to get in the habit of reading for detail, and I want to get in the habit of writing for readers that read for detail.
I love that.
There's a lot of readers that don't want description. They don't want to know that the chair is tufted gray wingback. They don't care. I care. What kind of chair is that? Is it gray? Is it heather gray? Is it steel
Yeah.
gray? Is it tufted? Is it smooth? Is
Hmm.
it ratty? Is it new? Does it have wood? Are the arms curved? I want all of that information. And I don't want you to load me down with info, but like you can spread info through the narrative to give readers a full idea so they can picture that room in their minds. And there are
Right.
some readers that don't want that. I want that. I'm that
Yes.
reader. And so I
I
write definitely for me, because if I read it and I'm like,
yes.
it's boring. I need to know, I have to ask myself, why is that boring? And then, okay, I need to figure out how to spruce this up. And like, I love to read like a Nia Forrester or a
Yes.
Tasha L. Harrison, because they are just to the sound the zipper makes when he unzips his jeans
Yes.
is
Yes.
how into it they get. And so I get my mind used to listening for the detail, reading for the detail, and then bringing the reader through that. And again,
It's an
just
experience.
marry them in senses. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
definitely an experience. I want to jump over to Brunch of Rubies because, it's Brunch of Rubies. We got to talk
Yes,
about that.
my
We got to go
girls.
there. Those are your girls. So
Hmm.
I did it in Audible,
Okay.
and it was a full experience. It was immersive. I did that.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, it was a full experience. I've done it. I'm on my third time now.
Wow.
And each time it was different. But I want to tell you some of the things that people said about it first, okay?
Okay.
Um, this is the story of Maxine, Renee, and Deborah.
Hmm.
Maxine's a realtor. Deborah's, I call her a caretaker. Deborah's a principal.
There was a principal. Hmm.
And there's all type of things addressed from infidelity. There's a caretaker. There's friendships lost, friendship recovery, love lost, love recovery. It's just an amazingly written book. And let's see what some people said about it.
Okay.
It's a grown woman, friendship, a wonderful story. Love this so much. Sisterhood at its best. Friendship endures. A fun read. It's well written, an enjoyable read. Thoroughly enjoyed this. It was perfect. A steady read. Characters were all developed well. Just this book. Excellent writing. so relatable, not formulated characters, just a great story. That's just a little bit of what I grabbed, but that's just overall what was said. And you wrote a grown book.
Yes.
Um, there's so many books right now that are out about friendships, but we're talking 22, 25-year olds, which is great because we have those. But
Mm-hmm.
this
Hmm.
is a different kind of friendship. These
Yeah.
are friendships when you're talking about things like divorce,
Yes.
infidelity. Um,
Time tested.
it's for real. So, what were the nuances that you wanted to make sure that the readers got in this? I call this a girl friendship book, but because a lot of so many of the issues were centered around their blackness, um, so I put a girl slash black girl friendship. Some of the
Hmm.
What were the nuances that you wanted the readers to capture?
So this book is inspired by my brunch group.
Oh,
I was right up until the height of the pandemic. We were meeting every month for years, like since 2008. I don't know. I can't remember. 2010 maybe. Years. And it's women, it was like 8 different women from all areas of Atlanta, some north, some south, all walks of life. I'm an executive assistant, one was a paralegal,
uh-huh.
one was a college instructor, one's an attorney, another's a banker. But we would all come together once a month and talk and share and give advice and laugh and cry and hug, and we would go to movies together and whatever. But the crux of our relationship was that monthly brunch, and we would all just be like, I can't wait for brunch. I have good news. And like, girl, I need a brunch because listen. And so I wanted that feeling of camaraderie and that sisterhood that is among Black women that know each other, that love each other. Like, but I wanted to kind of like ramp it up. Like, these women have known each other since they were children.
Right.
They know everything about each other. And so nobody can tell you about yourself like your sister,
Mhm.
particularly your chosen sisters. And so I wanted them to have the kind of relationship where Deborah could tell Maxine, you're being ridiculous and you need to let it go. And where Maxine could tell Renee, I don't like you because you did this to me or that
Yes.
to me. And and for them to not be so insecure as to think the friendship is over because so and so is mad at
Mm.
me, but for their thoughts to be, eventually their thoughts to be, I have to mend this because this is my sister. So I kind of, it took me 4 years to write this book because I really needed to get it right. And
And 4 years
the
later, I'm still reading it again.
the ladies go through a lot of ups and downs,
Yes.
but I wanted their relationship to, I mean, they hit some pretty rocky points in
Yes.
our relationships, but I say that this is a tale of the bond between women that bends but doesn't break. And so I
I
bent
agree.
this bond to the nth degree.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
What were some of the difficult things that you faced when writing this story? Like within, as in, not like writing challenges, but the way you felt, like emotionally. What were some of the difficulties that you faced in
well,
writing this?
like, this book is dedicated to my Uncle T and my Aunt Delois, who were married for 68 years, I
Hmm.
believe. A really, really beautiful relationship. My Uncle T started suffering from Alzheimer's. So I moved here in 2013. I would say by like 2018-ish, he was going downhill. He wouldn't recognize me anymore.
Hmm.
And that relationship was the foundation for Bernard and Lorraine. Like they had just a long, beautiful relationship. And when my Uncle T died, my aunt kind of didn't know what to do with herself, and she also began to decline. And so it was,
Renee's
I
story.
mean, yeah, you know, there's that situation. I emote through writing, and so me working through my uncle's Alzheimer's diagnosis and my aunt's kidney disease, um, was you know, a lot of that. I also was like, I wasn't ready to write this book when I started writing this book. It wasn't good, and I was trying really hard to make it good, but I didn't have the skill that I needed to make it good. And I remember I was at a point and I had decided I was going to quit. I was just done.
Really?
I was going to put it away, and I was really upset by that decision because I wanted to finish the book, but I was lost and I was depressed about it. It wasn't good, and I was buried in it. And I remember being on Twitter, and I was just literally tears running down my face, and I'm just typing, I'm just emoting all over Twitter the way we do.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've ever read her, but Atlanta author Tayari Jones, she
Yes.
she sent
Both of like the American.
American Marriage,
Yeah, I've read all. I think I've read
Silver
everything.
Sparrow,
Silver
uh,
Spare. Yes.
Leaving Atlanta, etc. The
Yes.
Untelling.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
her. I love her. She's one of my favorites. I love her. She sent me a DM, and she said, "Here's what I want you to do.
Hmm.
I want you to take a break. I want you to rest, and read and rest your brain. And then I want you to come back to this book because I know you can finish it.
Mhm.
I just want you to take a break,
Uh-huh.
but you're going to come back and you're going to finish this book, okay?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll finish it." And so I did. I took like a year off. I
I
put it
mean, the
away for
book
like
is
a year.
done. It's just
Yeah,
done so
yeah,
well. And
yeah,
now hearing you say this, I'm so glad. Again, thank you so
yeah,
much for having this conversation with me because now I'm understanding it.
yeah,
Because I'm going to
yeah.
tell you, the the first time I read it, I was like, I was going through some things with my friends at this time. And
Mm-hmm,
so it didn't land the same because I was
mm-hmm.
going through my own, like, your own hurt. So I was like,
Yes.
no, like there was a character that I just didn't like. I was just like, I
Mm-hmm,
can't.
mm-hmm.
Now I'm reading it again and I'm just like, it's a total because I'm in a different space and I learned
Yes.
so much about friendships from the first book. And I've let it just sit and now I'm able to experience it again and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
so
like,
it's
you
just
know,
absolutely beautiful.
it is, I mean, it's so much book. It is a lot of book, but I like when people read it and then read it again and see something different. And when they email me and they're like, "I was just thinking about this point when I was reading," and I was like, "Wow, interesting," because I wasn't even thinking about that when I wrote
Yes.
it.
It's so different. Let me ask you. So there's reviews, and you get really good reviews. And because I just went through all so many reading the reviews,
It's been out 10 years, so.
I know, but it seems like it's resurfacing. I think because reading now has become a big fad. If you're in a you go to brunch and you say you read, you're like you're at a bar, you read.
It is very popular
It's
to
very popular,
read.
and so it's really good to reintroduce um good writing into the current moments.
Hmm,
How are
hmm.
you making sure, or are you working or reintroducing this story particular to everyone? Because I think everyone needs to know. So what are you doing to reintroduce it?
So this book I consider my flagship novel. When
Okay.
people ask me where to start, I say Brunch at Ruby's because it's my favorite. And I just feel like it is a book that exemplifies my writing. The it's I mean, I want to say the height and depth of my writing, but the book is 10 years old. So I don't know if I can say that because I've certainly grown as a writer since I wrote that book. I did have it re-edited this year for the 10th anniversary edition, thanks to A.K Edits, who I think is still in the comments. Um, But um, you're asking me about ensuring that the writing is
Yeah,
still,
just that you're
yeah.
reintroducing it. So say like right now there's a lot of different platforms, right? So you
Hmm.
have, and I think the platforms are a lot, there's certain groups that
Yeah.
are on certain platforms where you see, and and people don't know about your work, right? Because there's
Hmm.
so many like, and I think it's just important. I think these interviews like this and getting out to reintroduce people to Brunch of Rubies, because it's just really good writing.
Hmm.
um and I just was wondering, is there a way that, that we can help you to also reintroduce the book? That there's people who are watching, there are people who would watch, like things that they can do, because I know as an indie author, um, we're here to support you. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the base of that question. Like, what can we do to help support you to make sure that people are introduced to this?
I mean, I think when I try to promote that book pretty often.
Okay.
So when you see promo about a book you really enjoy, repost it, comments, so it feeds the algorithm or whatever is out there. Word of mouth sells books. And I will say Beverly Jenkins loves Brunch at Ruby's. And every time I mention that book and she reposts it or she comments about it, it sells copies. So word
Okay.
of mouth most definitely sells books.
Yes.
And I try to bump up some of my thicker, full length, like thinky books. I do have some very simple one shot, you know, background noise type books because I wanted to like unclench a little bit. Um,
Yes.
I
Beach,
did
beach,
Beach
beach,
Thing.
beach thing.
Yeah, those are just like fun, sexy, titillating novels. A few of them have a little bit of meaning and symbolism in them, but and they're still full of like emotion and the senses. But sometimes I just want to have fun with the book. I just want to put
Yes.
out a book and people go, "Ooh, that was fun."
Uh-huh.
And that's what all the Black Diamond books are. My Potter Lake books are small town romance, and that's you're
Yes.
feeling nostalgic for home, and like you just want like just wrap me up in a warm blanket and sit me in front of a fire and give me all four Potter Lake books. I
Yes.
love knowing that people read and reread and reread those books for comfort. And then, there's books that pull at the heartstrings, like Bunch at Ruby's or Dinner at Sam's. I try to bring those books out, but I also feel what you're saying, that some of the platforms skew very young and they're reading a lot of 22 to 28-year olds doing 22 to 28-year-old things. I haven't been 22 in 30 years. And so my mind doesn't go there. I can't do young, dumb stuff. I can't write young, dumb stuff. But when I feel like the readers are looking for young, dumb stuff, it gets hard to promote my older, seasoned,
But
snarky
but us
romance.
but you have your older seasoned ones that's out there, and
Right. Yeah.
so
Those are
that's
people that I would really like to connect more with and also get them to amplify the book so that other people that are of
can,
that age group
yeah,
and
that's good.
want that can see that.
Yeah, that's on my mind now, book club and things of that sort. So let me ask you, back to the reviews.
Hmm.
Do you now, after writing Brunch of Rubies, think about Maxine's character? Because, well, it would have been a five, but I didn't like Maxine. Well, it would have been, but I didn't like. Did that affect anything? Because what are the pros and cons to writing a character like Maxine as an author?
I'm a person that I love an unreliable narrator. I love an unlikable character.
Hmm.
I love writing somebody for you to hate. I always have somebody in my book that you just cannot stand. And I just know my editor loves that. Um, spoiler, she does not. So it doesn't bother me at all that people don't like Maxine because I wrote her to be disliked. And what I wanted for Maxine, because I didn't like Maxine until almost the end of the book. I was having a really, really hard
I didn't
time
like
with
Maxine till
her.
my third time reading the book
Yeah,
now.
because I feel like I was at a point and I went to brunch with my girls and I said, I got a character that I can't stand. And I don't like, maybe I'll have to cut her out because she's kind of mean and she's like mouthy and very forward and like I feel like her personality is essential for the book because they needed somebody in that group that says what needs to be said.
Hmm.
But also the way that I wrote Maxine got on my nerves. And so the girls at my brunch said, you got to figure out who Maxine is from the rooter to the tutor. Like, we get that she is this person, but why? You need to understand her motives. Like, go back to her past, go back to figuring out where she
Fine.
came from. And that's when I came up with Inel and her father and how she, because Maxine didn't just wake up and decide to be this person. She developed into that person from a young age. And there's a reason that she
Why she's
developed into
like
that
that. Yes,
person as a
yes.
young age. Like, find that and use that as fodder, but also put her friends around her because they have known Maxine her entire life. They know who the real Maxine Glass, not Maxine
Mhm.
Glass, Maxine Donovan. Glass is her married name. Spoiler. Um, they know who the real Maxine Donovan is because they have known her since she lived in that little tiny rundown
House,
back of a
rundown
house
house.
on
Yeah.
Castle Rock. And so the only reason Maxine still has friends is because those women know the real Maxine and they put up with her because they know that's a facade that she has to put on to protect herself from the world. And so when I came at her character and her personality from that point of view, it became
Uh-huh.
my job then to show that to the reader and not to make you like her, but to make you understand her. And Nikki Reed said, Maxine is someone you love but gets on your damn nerves. Absolutely.
And everybody has a
Yeah.
Maxine in their friend
Everybody
group.
has a Maxine, and she
And then
might be somebody
Maxine and
you,
that, and sometimes different people take on those different.
right?
So when you
Right?
were writing, did you assign the certain love languages and different traits to the characters, like outline that?
Not not on purpose. Not really on purpose. I think I was more into personality traits, what was important to each character. I have never studied love language
Mhm.
closely, but I knew Maxine would very much be into not so much time but gifts. And but Renee would be more into time, and I'm like, I don't even know what Deborah's would be, but not, I mean, not on purpose, but I'm sure you could like dig through the book and pick out, little snippets here and there to
Yeah.
kind of illuminate what their love language might be.
But I would love to see this in a movie. Man, I would
Wouldn't it?
I would the Audible. So next two things, they're kind of merged. So when I was looking at it because I was looking and I was like, I can't find it. It's no longer on Audible, but it's on other platforms.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Why did you choose to do that?
So, Audible is about to enact a couple of rules that just make earning unfair for indie authors.
Mhm.
First of all, they don't pay worth crap. I think I've made $30 on Audible all year.
Oh, no.
And so I just kind of was at a point where I'm just tired of them. And so I pulled my books from Audible. There could be a chance that they are back at some point, but for right now, just the way that the earnings are set up, it's very hard to explain, but it just means that Amazon is aiming to pay indie authors less, and they don't do anything but host the book. They don't produce it, they don't write it. You load it up, they store it, they decide how much you can charge for it. And I might make 20 cents on the dollar. It's just
So it made more sense
not
because
worth
now
it.
it's on so many. I bought it through
It's
audio book, which was a
it
different
should be
platform.
everywhere but Audible.
Everywhere but Audible. Okay.
Yeah, and
So
really
maybe other
people
authors need to
couldn't.
hear this. So this is something good for
Yes.
other authors to hear that you were
Hmm.
able to move it over. So
Yeah.
was it since you kept it since it was on Audible for so long, you
Hmm.
method where you can now pull it off, or was it that simple to
It was
remove it?
so it was originally a royalty share project. So my narrator approached me and said, I read this book and I absolutely love it. I would love to voice it. Are you interested in audio?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, sure.
She
And
did such a good job.
she really did.
Oh man, she did a good
Like
job.
money. Her voice is like butter. And
I love it.
yeah,
That's Star Williams. Star.
it was
I can't remember who it was.
Sherelle Palmer.
Yeah, I have to look it up. It
Sherelle
was
Palmer.
done so
Yeah.
well.
So initially when that audiobook came out, I would share the profit with her. Audible takes their cut and
Okay.
then they divide the profit. And at first the book sold like gangbusters, but after a while Audible stops pushing your book in favor of like the new flavor of the week, and it kind of falls off, it falls off a cliff.
Uh-huh.
And I would say I don't remember when I pulled it out of royalty share, but I had to pay my narrator out of her contract. It's like
Okay.
it's a 7-year contract, and at like year 4, it was making like, I don't know, $5 a month or something like that. It wasn't worth me keeping it in royalty share.
Okay.
So I paid her out, pulled it down, re-uploaded it as a full like do it yourself project.
Okay.
And honestly, ever since I re-uploaded it, it just nobody can find it.
Mhm.
It doesn't earn anything. And then Audible was talking about, we about to take even more money from you for doing nothing. And I said, you know what? No, no. So, like, my goal as an indie author is to reduce my dependence on Amazon. So, when I promote, I send people to my website or I send them to a universal link so you can choose anywhere you can buy this book, and I put Amazon at the bottom.
And
And
that was my next question,
yeah,
the pros and cons, which now you're explaining because you choose to have only a few books on Kindle Unlimited, and like Ruby's is not one of them.
no,
So, do you think what are the pros and cons to that? And do you think that that stops a certain group of readers from reading it?
I definitely think it stops a certain group of readers. And I mean, it's Kindle Unlimited is a specific type of reader. They are readers that typically don't buy books. They only read what's in Kindle Unlimited. They
Mhm.
pay their $11 a month, and that's all they read. And if it's outside of that, unless they can get it free somewhere, they're not buying it.
Okay.
There are other readers that will read anywhere. They'll buy the book, they'll buy the audio, they'll buy the print. So I really wanted, like I said, to reduce my dependence on Amazon because they were doing some shady stuff
Okay.
5, 7 years ago. And just, authors were making bank through Kindle Unlimited. And then they decided that the page reads were fraudulent, and then they wouldn't pay them for the money that they were making. And so I was like, if there's anything that Amazon can do to authors, they're doing it to indie authors. They can't do it to their trad authors, but if there's any kind of like
Mhm.
backlash or punishment, they're gonna put it on the indie authors first. And
Wow.
so I just want it to be out from under their finger and to have control over my own career. I want to decide where
Yes.
my books are published. I want to decide how much they cost. I don't
Yes.
want to have to jump through hoops to change the price. I don't want to have to jump through hoops to make a book free. It takes at least
Hmm.
48 hours to make a book free on Amazon, and you can't make a book free on Amazon until it's free somewhere else. And you have to say, look, it's free over here. I need you to price match. I can't just decide to make my book free on Amazon unless I'm in Kindle Unlimited. I also, because books are in Kindle Unlimited, I can't sell that book anywhere else. And so when I'm getting 0 page reads, I can't pay somebody to read that book and they don't want to buy it on Amazon. And until very recently, I couldn't have it available at libraries.
Hmm. All
I'm
these
handcuffed.
rules.
I can't I can't make money because Amazon has me in handcuffs. And so I don't like that. I don't like anything that's exclusionary. So and so I just decided I wasn't going to put any more in Kindle Unlimited. I do have one book in Kindle
One.
Unlimited. Calculated Risk is in there because it's been part of a free giveaway promotion all year. I needed a place to park it until January. I'm probably gonna do. I'm gonna then pull that from Kindle Unlimited, maybe redo the cover, put it out wide. But that book is also I self-recorded the audio for that, and it is also in paperback, so people can get it how they live it, however they want to get that book. But I also was seeing a lot of people say they only read KU, and I want readers to have an opportunity to get to know my writing, to get used to reading my work, be introduced to me. And so that's an easy way for people to find me, get to know me, and find my books elsewhere if they are so inclined to buy outside of Amazon, if they are so inclined to
And there
read
there are.
outside
I
of
mean, there
Kindle Unlimited.
I looked, I was like, I'm gonna find it. I was searching and I found it and I knew I would be on the road, so I wanted to listen
Hmm.
to it again. So I was like, let me
Yeah,
just go ahead and the Audible is so, man, it was done
it's really
so
good.
well. I mean, it
Yeah,
was really, really good.
yeah,
So again, like when I'm promoting your book, I probably need to say something along the lines. It's you can get it from directly from the author's website.
yes.
If you want
Go to
the
my
Audible,
website.
you
My
can go
link's so
through
good.
because it's even on Apple and all of the different platforms.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the
Yep.
way we need to promote for you. So
Hmm.
I always like to throw this out there. I know we're coming to an end, but we cannot leave until we talk about your last release book.
Okay.
So we will go. You okay? We go a little bit over.
This is what I'm doing tonight.
Okay, cool. 'Cause I'm like, but I just like to always say this is that if if you're watching and you're an author, give love to the interviewers, give love to the content creators because we are your backbone. We're the ones pushing
Hmm.
your book. Just a
Yep.
simple "Hey girl" draws attention because there's so people. So if you say "Hey girl," I'm like, let me check and see if she dropped her book. Reach out to us because we're here to support you. We love this community. We have to work together as a unit to promote our stories. These are our stories.
Hmm.
And so I just like to say that all the time for people watching into authors and follow them.
Hmm.
Go down the line. Okay, what, click. They
Yeah.
see when you follow them. They
Hmm.
talk
Hmm.
about it, and it's the more we talk about the inclusion, I think it's gonna be good for authors
Yes.
because that's a way to make sure that the work is promoted. So that's my spiel. I give it every time. Okay. I want to talk about a book you just released.
Okay.
Missing Persons.
Missing persons.
So when I was reading it, that's why I laughed when you mentioned Nia Forrester because I always think about Nia Forrester's two books. I think they're somewhere behind me, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you went into a mystery. I called it. I'm gonna let you tell me, but this is what I called it. I called it a military interconnected suspense thriller romance.
Mm.
How would you define it?
I I just call it a romantic mystery because I didn't want to freak myself out by calling it a thriller because I read thrillers and I need the timeline to snap and I need to sense danger and I feel like I couldn't get it quite to the level of a thriller suspense. But
Okay.
there is a mystery to be solved, and so I felt comfortable calling it a romantic mystery, and it's definitely heavy on the romance, very heavy on the romance, but also there's I like an external conflict, so I like something to push
Mhm.
the story and the romance along, and
Right.
something for the characters to fight through and to pull each other through and not let it pull them apart. So
Carolyn Book Lady says it was a good read. Why the
thank you,
mili
Carolyn.
why did you insert the military I'm gonna say trope, but the all the military content into it? Do you have, is a
So
military background, or where did you grab that from?
Yvette popped in my head when I was writing Dinner at Sam's.
Okay.
And I just off the cuff, I just wrote her as someone who was formerly Army, that's now a private investigator. And I don't know where that came from. I just, in my head,
Love
I
it.
think I feel like at the time I was reading a lot of private investigator novels, and I must have read a book where an investigator was former military, and she was an investigator in the Army, and kind of it just fell over into
Relevant.
her civilian life. And I think to me it made sense for her to have a past. And I was also reading like Amanda Kyle Williams, who was in Atlanta. Suspense author. I don't know, was it romantic suspense? I don't know. But I just loved her Key Street private investigator novels.
Mhm.
And she's the one that made me want to write a private investigator. She passed away from cancer in like 2020-ish. And so I was just so sad when she passed away. And I started writing Missing Persons sort of as a tribute to her.
Okay. Okay.
And it took me a while to finish it. Again, it took me a few years to get this one out.
Wow.
But when I started writing her story, because Yvette was prior military,
Yes.
Wesley then kind of had to be prior military, and that's how they know each other.
Right.
Otherwise, the closeness of their relationship didn't make sense. They had to have known each other from way back when. And then I had to figure out, like, what is Yvette's wound and what is she fighting against? And Wesley clearly wants to be with her, and why does she not want to be with him? Well, obviously, she is hurt and heartbroken, and why?
Yes.
What's so I'm telling myself this story in my head, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's kind of, I mean, it just, they're prior military because
Yeah, and
it's just, that's how she popped out in my head in Dinner at Sam's. And so
so you had to do
I had
research
to
on it.
do that.
You had to
I
do
did
research on the Army.
a little bit. I'm a military brat. My
Okay.
dad is Air Force.
Okay.
So it's the same but different. And so I had to find like actual Army people, read a lot of military Reddit posts, do a lot of research on JAG attorneys and investigators in the Army, just enough that I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I was
Um,
taking notes. Talking about the
yeah,
food that they were eating. You did like how the meals were mentioned, and I'm
yes,
just like,
yes.
okay.
Because if you write that there's a Thai restaurant near Fort Bragg, there should actually be
B,
a Thai restaurant near Fort
thank
Bragg.
you.
Otherwise, people who
Thank
have been
you.
to Fort Bragg are going to be like, ain't no Thai restaurant near Fort Bragg. Author doesn't know what she's talking about. Should research better. And I can't stand that comment. And so I want to make sure that if I mention this restaurant, this dish at this restaurant, they serve that dish at that restaurant. And I have a beta that just beat that into
Yeah,
my,
I was gonna ask you about your beta.
if you mention that, they will look for it. And so you need to make it clear that you made it up.
Yes.
But like if you write a book set in Atlanta, that place should actually exist because
B.
Atlantans know their city. You
Yeah.
can't just say random street because then people gonna know that street don't exist.
Yes.
So
So I tell this story. It's really quick how at a job that I had as an investigator in real life, um this lady came, and she was an author, to do a ride along, and she had to get a court order to be able to do ride alongs with me, and she was able to do it. So if anyone's ever interested, I could tell you how that.
ooh, I would love to do that.
And so she would go out, and I remember I had it was a case where there was a death, and she actually was in the
Oh,
hospital when that person passed. Like,
oh,
she was with me every place I went, and
right.
she was with me for probably about 6 months, and so it was just really interesting. And I
Wow.
mean, her book was
But
very
then you
interesting.
have like that firsthand experience.
Yeah,
You
as an
remember
author,
like
to be
the,
able to get everything. And I
Yes, to be able
remember
to.
there would be like weeks where she wouldn't come. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, like what her name was Mel. And I was like, where did Mel go? And then she was like, oh, I drove up the coast, the California coast of Oregon, because I wanted to make sure I get with gas stations and how far
Exactly.
this was from this. That's some detailed
The
research.
distance and the landmarks, and it
Yes,
reminds
yes.
me of reading Eric Jerome Dickey, because he would be so precise in his like his descriptions of the streets of LA. Like you could get around LA by reading an Eric
His
Jerome Dickey book.
book.
Like
Yeah.
if you shot up La Brea and then took a right on Crenshaw, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, but I feel like I could get around LA just by reading this
And
book.
see, that's the way I just felt with the Lunch and Rubies when you were talking about the 285 Beltway, and if it's on this side, it's one, or
Right,
on this side. I was
right.
like, so it really, really made a difference. You know, you are an amazing author, and I'm so glad that you have allowed me to have just this space to be able to share this space with you. I feel honored.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
I just think as other authors, I hope they watch this, that they can learn so much from you. And this is again, each one teach one community. Is there, I used to, oh, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I used to do like almost like a show, but used to come on Instagram and used to talk a lot and give a lot of information to just you should just talk. I don't know. I used to watch
Mm.
you. Do you still do that, or have you considered doing like writing groups for young authors? I mean, new authors, but definitely a lot of the young authors who may need some development work.
Um, I don't do a whole lot of being on the internet as of late. I think the pandemic kind of burnt me out of having my face on the screen all the time. I know I am not the only one, because there are some people that were running Black Reader Con, and
Yes, yes.
we just got burnt out on just being on all the time. I feel like I'm nobody's guru. When I start a new book, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to write a book. I've never written a book. I can't read. I don't know what are words. And so I'm stumbling around just as much as anybody else might be. And my books are a mess until I finish it. And then I have to go back and clean it up. And then I have to edit before it goes to my editor.
Editor.
Otherwise,
So what advice
she
would
might
you
think I'm
give?
crazy. So
What
I
advice would you give for new authors?
to
Someone who's watching who says, I want to start today. What advice would you give?
I think I really think the best thing you can do is read, 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 inside your genre, outside your genre, craft, find a craft book, a craft writer that speaks to you. I love James Scott Bell. The way he writes is just so plain. Do this, do that, remember this, think of that. These are the things you need to remember. I don't need flowery speech in my craft. I just want it plain, just lay it out. I take it in so much better when it's James Scott Bell, but find a craft writer that you like and read craft, read for enjoyment, read for pleasure, read for study. Find an author that you feel right out of this world. Find authors that inspire you. Find authors that you read and they make you want to write. If I do an interview and I don't talk about Tasha L. Harrison, something's wrong with me, because I love her words. I just love the way she uses words, and just the way that she tells a story. And she does so much for the writing community. She leads the writing challenges and she puts out all kinds of guides. And so I feel like there are people that are doing it so much better than I could. But what I could do for a new author is guide them. Go download this workbook Tasha just wrote about finding your character's wound. She just did a little blog post on the hero's journey or the heroine's journey, or writing sex, or that kind of thing. There are so many people that are instructing I don't need to add my voice to that, but I do want to amplify people that are working
Okay,
hard
that's important.
to instruct authors on how to write because I'm in that class too.
Well,
I'm in
thank
the
you just for
classes
even saying
too.
just the little bit, just what you said, that little information
Hmm.
hopefully will impact someone. I'm
Yes.
going to read these two questions.
Okay.
One of them is from RT Williams 16.
Raymond.
Um, who is your favorite guilty pleasure author?
Guilty pleasure. I don't have a guilty pleasure. All my reading is pleasurable. I, somebody that I read when I like don't want I don't want this to come off as an insult, but because it is not, it is the greatest compliment. But like when I need a book that is just fun, um, and it doesn't, I won't go there. When I want a book that's well written and fun, I read Alexandria House.
Yes.
Because like I have just always loved her books. I love the way she tells a story.
Uh-huh.
I love Uncle Lee Chester. I just like when I'm reading a book and I'm swooning and I'm laughing and I'm yelling at people in it, like I just want a book that like I keep wanting to say doesn't make me think, but I don't want to say that because Alex House does write books that make
Yeah,
me think.
yeah, she
But she
does.
has certain books like, you know, them
But
going,
I've learned a lot of just
yeah,
things, period.
yeah, just some like if I just want something fun, there are certain books in her catalog that I will pick up. Just I just need some. I know it's going to be good. I don't need to think about it. Just pick a book, pick it up, read it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good. So I would say, you know, um just for like
Alexandria
some
House.
fun reading, I would pick up an Alex House. Hmm.
The chatty bookish chick has a question. It's what's one title that you've read that you wish you have had penned?
Whew. You know what? It's probably a Kennedy Ryan novel, like Kennedy Ryan or Tia Williams. Like Tia can do no wrong. I love me some Tia Williams. I love the way she writes. But I would say that I don't wish that I wrote Real, but Real is such a masterpiece
Oh,
that
real.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
the level of her writing is a level I aspire to.
Yeah.
Kennedy is a writer that I can't read her right before I write because I'm intimidated and
No.
I'd be
Mm-mm. I
like,
love Kennedy Ryan, but let me
yeah,
tell you,
I'd be
sis,
like,
you have a super fire pen game yourself.
yeah,
I
thank
just have to throw
you.
that out there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I do be trying. I do be
I
trying.
mean, because that's why I told you, y'all don't know, but I told her, I was like, well, everybody who, if you follow me or you just know, I am a Terry McMillan, like, to the heart fan. Like,
Mhm.
I used to eavesdrop on my mom's book clubs, and that's when I was introduced. There is nothing that Terry, speaking of, I have a book that I need to go pick up that she just signed for me.
Yes,
But
the new ones.
I love Terry McMillan. And when I just did Ruby, as I'm doing it this time, I'm just like, this reminds me of the friendships that are
Yeah,
in Terry McMillan's books, and that's what
that's
draws
what I've
me
heard a
in.
lot. Hmm.
And that's what I like about Brunch at Ruby's is that as adults, we're still learning how to be friends. And we don't
Yes.
find books about that. And the thing about it is you gave us, and that's what Terry McMillan did. There's friends in there. She has one book. I think the friends are like 60. So there's different.
Hmm.
So you every stage of life you learn friendship. And I just
Yes.
I really appreciate your work. I appreciate the mystery twist, the missing person. I mean, I've done so many of your books, so
Thank
I mean,
you.
I
Thank
am
you
a
so
true
much.
fan. And like again, I thank you. I think I saw one more question before we close out. Oh, um, girl on the seesaw. I think that's what that says. Girl on the seesaw. She wants to know, would you develop a series um from the missing person characters?
That is a very good question. It's an intent. I titled that Young Investigations
Yes.
because I would love for that to be an entry point to a series. Um, I have always stumbled upon my series. Like I write a standalone, and then everybody's like, "What about?" what about him and what about her and what about them? And
Well,
then
I
the
like
book
the fact that she
start.
was a cheater. She did the cheaters. I was like, okay, she's investigating people who cheat, hide in
Yes,
bushes and stuff.
yes. So I feel like it gives me an entry point into like a romantic series, no, not a romantic series, but like a mystery series with romantic elements where we could follow Yvette and Wesley throughout their relationship and their partnership, them learning how
Yeah.
to work together and solving different kinds of cases. Um, so I mean that's the goal. I did have kind of like a list of like really quick shot um, different stories I could do, but at the moment I don't have anything like brewing. But yeah, that's the goal. So we'll see.
Well, again, I'm just gonna put Brunch of Rubies is 10 years. I'm just gonna keep putting it in the universe that I would love to turn
Yes.
on and see that on on a TV because I
Yeah.
just think it was it was just it was done it was just good. And
Thank
I know
you.
everybody who reads it probably says that's me and my friendship group, or that's me and my friendship group.
I
So
do get a lot of emails that people really identify a lot with Renee and they don't like Maxine.
yeah,
So,
I
but
wonder
they
why.
know a Maxine, and she's
Mhm.
just like that. Or like my sister is very much a Maxine. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a
I do
friend
get a
in my
lot.
friendship my group that's that. So can you please tell us where we can get a hard copy of your book, where it's best for you to benefit, and where will you be so that people can come see you and
I
get a copy of the book?
You can go to my website, booksbydlwhite.com/books. All my books are listed there. If you tap on the book, you can it'll take you to that books page so you can get it in ebook, print, audio if it's available. Um, there's links to everything. I don't sell books, print books direct. You can get ebook and audio direct from me, but I got tired of going to the post office. So print books I send through bookshop.org, so that your local bookseller or the bookseller of your choice can share in the profit of that novel. Um, I don't have anything really set in person until May of next year. I'll be at Black Romance Book Fest. And then I just am in the process of booking something in June that I can't talk about yet. That is
Okay.
not Indie Love. Um, but for right now, I don't have anything coming up soon to see
Mhm.
me in person, but I am always
Out.
online,
What
chronically
about indie
online.
bookstores? Can we find your work at any indie bookstores?
That I know of, my books are only stocked at Resist Booksellers in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Richmond-ish. What
Okay.
city is, Raymond will tell me what city Resist Booksellers is in because it just flew out of my head. It's near Richmond though.
Okay.
Um, that I know of, that's the only indie bookstore that stocks my books because I'm not very diligent.
When I go to my bookstore, I'm gonna see if she can do brunch and rubies out here. We have one in here in Pasadena.
Yeah.
She's always looking. She always asks me for recommendations. And I now that we're talking about Andy and that you were saying how you don't have it, and then now
Hmm.
with the whole thing that's going around, how the people who actually
Hmm.
want physical copies again. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my part too. So I think that's my responsibility because I think everybody should have the opportunity to read that story.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it on more shelves.
Yeah,
So,
Pasadena.
I'm just,
Someone's watching. Yeah,
yeah,
Pasadena. I'm a Dina, what they call Dina girl. I'm in Dina. I'm in Dina now. Born and raised. I'm a Dina girl. So, but yeah, I really, again, thank you. I'm gonna let you close us out. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Black Romance Book Fest. I hope I can come just get a hug, and definitely
yes,
support you in any way. If you want to reach out at any point and say, "Hey, Yoka, this book is coming out. Do you mind?" I just let me know. I absolutely will help promote. It's just so many books. Like if someone asks me, I'll definitely
right,
do it. If not,
yeah,
generally, I'm just whatever book that's I'll do it. But I just think it's important for the younger gals to be able to have access to really, really good, solid, well-developed work. And yeah, so
Thank you so much. That is the greatest
yes,
compliment. I really
yes.
appreciate it.
And so y'all, we finished. I'm gonna let the author close us out. And I don't even know what my schedule looks like for the next coming up weeks. but but I will definitely, yep. Shout out to Octavia's Bookshelf. That's our bookstore in Pasadena, and it's Nikki is an amazing person. So yeah, I want to give a shout out. And she knows me. If you ever wanted to reach out to Nikki, she's always told the authors, just let them know through Girlfriends Unfiltered and send her a copy. Let her know she will definitely work to get your book out there as well.
Excellent.
So
Thank you so much.
yes, she's an amazing human. So again, thank you, author D.L. White, and I'm going to let you close us out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Thanks for all the great questions and the comments. I did see a lot, but didn't couldn't feel like I could be like typing, while I'm on the live. But I did see y'all. Love you so much. Appreciate you all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and see you again soon. Again, if something drops, let me know.
Absolutely.
I still haven't even done my review posts, so they're still coming. So you're still going to see those on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Instagram, because that's where I post the books that I read. Bye,
Absolutely.
everybody. Bye bye, y'all. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you.
Bye bye.